These mindset hacks will make your family life feel much easier, and you will be far less likely to be running around the house like a chicken with your head cut off. Hi, it's Rachel, mother of 5, language of listening parent coach, sleep consultant, founder of A Mother Far From Home. Let's hit it. The number one way to simplify your family life and all your routines is, I'm gonna hit this one first, is to have less stuff, to massively declutter. Okay, so this is an easy one, but I'm just gonna go ahead and get it out of the way. The less stuff you have, the less stuff you have to organize, the less stuff you have to put away, the less stuff that's around visually, disrupting your vibe because of all the clutter. If you have less stuff, it's just more peaceful in your house. So the environment is more peaceful. You are doing less things to manage the things that you bought. You're spending less money. I don't know how else to say it. Having less stuff literally makes your life easier. I know we want to prepare and have some things set back, but we don't need 3 or 4 of things. We don't need multiples. We just actually don't. You really don't need 4 strollers. You don't need them. There's just lots of stuff we can tend to accumulate. Having less makes life easier. If you think it doesn't, but you can get yourself over that initial hurdle, then it's gonna be like a snowball going downhill, and you're gonna be like going around with a trash bag, getting rid of stuff because life feels so good. Also, that's like a side tip when you're stressed. One of my most favorite mood altering things to do is to take a trash bag and walk around the house and then throw a bunch of stuff away. Call me crazy. So the next one I want to say, now one of my friends does this, Lauren from the Military Wife and Mom, and when she told me this, I thought, genius. They are a military family, so they're moving frequently, and she's a, kind of a more minimalist, gonna have less stuff. She only has about 7 outfits for her kids, not including some church clothes or nice clothes, just about 7 out, like school type normal outfits. That's it. Of course, then some pajamas, okay, whatever. But at the end of the weekend, does a quick load of laundry. She can pretty much fit both kids' laundry in one, boom, done. And it's just comfy stuff. Basketball shorts or normal t-shirts. Doesn't require any ironing, doesn't require any hanging up. And that's it. Laundry has totally ceased to be an issue for her because there is barely anything to do. So not everybody's gonna like this. Some people like to collect clothes or whatever. But if this type of mindset, if you can get into this mindset, it's easier. The kids don't need 14 pairs of shoes. What I do sometimes going into a season is each child has 1 pair of shoes. Now I'm not talking about like if there's a church clothes, but 1 pair of tennis shoes, 1 pair of flip-flops. If you lose them, so that's it. Then you don't have shoes everywhere. You don't have stuff getting lost. The less you have, the easier it is. And the more they'll take care of it, because the more they have, the more they just shove things everywhere and don't care anyway. Another mindset hack, I guess you could say, that will help simplify your life is to think about like, I'm just not gonna do things anymore that aren't really necessary. I'm just not gonna do them. For example, ironing. I'm just not gonna buy clothes that need to be ironed. I'm just not going to color code things. I'm just not going to do that. And that moves on to my next point. You don't need to micro organize. Instead, you can focus on macro organizing. So you just don't need to organize your drawer. You don't need to organize all of the books on the individual bookshelves. You don't need to organize your sock drawer. Like, it might be satisfying momentarily, but you're probably not gonna keep it. Certainly nobody else in the house is gonna keep these micro organizations. So you just have a macro organization. So just think, baskets. There's a basket in the living room, all the toys shove in it. That's it. There's a basket in the kids' room, all the toys shove in it. If you love, say, color coding Lego by if you love that and the kids love that and you all have that type of personality, that is excellent. But if you wish you had that type of personality but you don't, ain't gonna keep it. If you just wished your kids would be organized but they're not, they ain't gonna care. You just literally have a basket, shove all the Lego in it, and then what happens when they wanna play? They dump them out. But then they can just pick them back up. So if you just kind of be thinking, do I have to do this? We have so many things in motherhood and mom life. It's like we think we're gonna organize. I'm gonna make, you know what I'm gonna do?
I'm gonna organize a recipe binder. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna organize one. Yeah.
Do you know what I do every week? I Google and I print. I'm old school. I print it. I literally print it and then I throw it away. This is probably what happens. We don't need to be like, I'm gonna organize this and I'm gonna get the label maker and I'm gonna just like, I'm gonna do that. Don't do it. Just stop doing it. Another mindset hack I like to use, that I use this for all sorts of stuff in my home, in order to get cooperation on things, in order to prevent resistance. I do this to help with transitions, and I have a whole video on that. When I know I'm gonna ask them to do something they don't wanna do, but I wanna get some buy-in, and that is I do everything in the right order. So when we went on a mission trip in South Africa, our leader said, look, I wanna let y'all know we're on South African time. And this means we just do one thing after the next. So if we start one and we were sort of supposed to be starting the second one, but we're not done with the first, we just wait until we're done. This means it's not like at 9 we're finishing and moving on. It's like we weren't done with that. We're gonna go in order. So if you think what we're not gonna do is we're not gonna do screen time and then chores.
Oh no, no, no.
Ain't nobody wanna turn the screen off and go into the dishwasher?
No.
You don't get to do screen time until you've done your chore. You see what I mean? We don't stop playing outside or swimming, for example, and then clean our room. A better way.
A more positive way to phrase it.
You can swim when you clean your room. So we want to put things in order. Think about what we do when we do it, and you want to order it to where you're getting the least amount of resistance and the most amount of cooperation. If kids can do things to earn screen time, they will whiz through it. You will have so much less fighting. Another sort of hack to make life simpler for you is to put things where the kids can reach them. So this might be cups or plates. It might be snacks in the pantry or snacks in the fridge. I found at one point what I was spending a lot of time doing is the kids knew they could do something, but they couldn't reach it. So they were all having, and I have 5, and at one point I had 5 under 5. They were all having to get me to come and help them to get the little thing they needed. I felt kind of woodpecked. Do you know what I mean? It's my favorite phrase. How are you feeling? I'm feeling harassed. I'm feeling woodpecked. In order to stop feeling so woodpecked, you can put things at their level where they can reach it. So for example, if it's snack time, now sometimes of course you might probably make the snack and give that to them, but sometimes they're gonna go get their own snack. Make sure they can reach their drink. Make sure they can reach their plates, this type of thing. So this will go a long way in them not needing you to come in to do something for them. This goes in a lot of other different areas too. If there's something in their room they always have to reach for that they might do on their own, you know, you don't want to store clothes up in their closet if they can get those clothes on themselves. You want to put it where they can reach it. So this is a bit of a Montessori, I guess, although that's, you know, this is a very simplified version that's sort of waving over at Montessori. But put things that the kids reach, and then you will find that they will grow in that independence and in those life skills. And one thing that one of my friends shared with me one time, because I was telling her, I was like, dinner time makes me nuts because the kids get up and they get down and they sit, and then it's
like everybody just stay at the table. I'm trying to do a devotion.
She said that this worked for her, and this is clearly what I was not doing. And again, sometimes I fall off the wagon with this, but then I get back on it, is to make sure everything you need is right there when you're gonna eat dinner. Now this will extend to some other areas and some other examples too, but for example, we need the plates, we need the silverwares, we need the napkins, we need the condiments, we need, you know, if there's a pitcher of water, whatever it might be, whatever the kids are always getting up and going to get, just put on the table, and then you can learn and practice the life skill of passing. Can you please pass me this? Can you please hand me, or whatever. So then they're actually learning to use their manners, they're all sitting at the table, and it's not like monkey up, monkey down all the time, which is extremely annoying, or I find that to be extremely annoying. Particularly if you have a lot of kids, because then it's just like, where's everybody going? It's like musical chairs at dinner time, you know, does my head in. This is also a good for whether if you're playing sports and you're gonna go somewhere, have everything you need in one place, you know, so kind of organize things. And sometimes we can think that every child, we need to put all of their individual stuff in their rooms, but sometimes it's just better to and so I guess this is my last one, my mindset hack to make life simpler, group things together regardless of whose they are. So this might be shoes. You know, if you have the back door, everybody can just put their shoes there. Everybody doesn't have to keep their shoes in their own room. They might not do that anyway. They're probably all over the house. Puts them in the back door or the front door, wherever it is. So shoes you might group together, backpacks you might group together, outdoor toys you might group together. You get the hint. If there's things that all are kind of, you need to scoop up and use to go somewhere, make sure that they're just all put together in an easy way. Kind of take that time to think before you start, what little step could I do that would make this a bit easier, and then do that. Sometimes our brain is just scrambled, honestly, and we are like, you know, thinking ahead of some of these things is the easiest thing that we can do. And so I want to encourage you before I go, and I talk about this a lot in my book that's coming out, If Mama Ain't Happy. You know the phrase, if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. Is we're talking about our limits and our boundaries. So I'm gonna briefly hit on this before we go. When you know that you're past the point and you're past the limits and you're just like over it, you gotta drop some stuff. And I'm gonna encourage you to drop some of the stuff that don't really matter, like ironing. You're just like, I'm actually for a year, I'm gonna not wear anything that needs to be ironed. I'm just gonna put those away. These types of things really go a long way in keeping you out of fight or flight in the everyday. And if you're keeping out of that stress in the everyday for a few days and then a few more, before you know it, you're going weeks and you're feeling better. Talk soon.